Well, hey. Welcome. It is game time, VS Gaming playoff time. And we are absolutely thrilled to be bringing to you some upper bracket stuff, some lower bracket stuff. Myself, Greybeard, and of course, Ulturism. How are you, sir?
I am so excited for this. This is where South African Rocket League has really grown to. This is where we start to showcase some of the best talent that we've got up for action. And we have the biggest prize pool that has ever been hosted in a South African Rocket League tournament. VS Gaming coming through out of the works here with this VS Gaming Championship 2021. We're going to get to see some of the action starting tonight. And man, what a place that this has grown to. After the last couple of years, more teams getting involved. We had 33 teams competing now, a couple of legs going through to get to this point, and we're left with 12 teams left to fight it out. First prize takes home a whopping 25,000 Rand.
It is going to be epic, and it's fabulous to have it after the bizarre 18 months we've had. The last LAN was almost 2 years ago, and I remember being there, and I was still very new on the scene as a content creator, as a caster. In fact, I think one of my first efforts at casting was at that LAN, and that was almost 2 years ago, and we still haven't got back to LANs. That time will come, but it is fantastic that Telkom Gaming, VS Gaming have come on board this year to put together this tournament and have a decent payout and really become something of a catalyst to get the Rocket League scene here back on its feet and growing, which had a bit of a stuttery year last year, but 2021, perhaps the start of great things.
You know, that's the beauty of what Rocket League has been through. Is in the beginning, it started with a couple of small tournaments here and there. We started with VS hosting some of the Rocket League up at Rage, up at Comic-Con. I was very privileged to get to work on those sort of events, and it was amazing to get to see those LAN atmospheres up there. We had some guys coming in there since that stage, back, when I played professionally at that stage. We've had a couple of players drop out there. Some of us have moved into something like the casting role. Glad to see you with me here, because I wouldn't want anyone else next to me here tonight. And we've just seen this revitalization in the last year. Ever since Rocket League went free to play, the community has jumped in. Everyone's decided this is a game we love. And if you start to see what VS is putting into place, I just have to make a quick mention. If you guys don't know, the High School Esports League has become the grassroots organization from VS Gaming as well. I think it was 130 teams or something like that signed up. 118, I think it was at the end of the day. 118 teams signing up for the High School Esports League. These are school kids coming together, playing Rocket League, and wanting to keep growing this scene. And it comes down to you people watching. It comes down to the guys playing here tonight. It comes down to the fact that everyone loves this game, and that's what we're here to celebrate tonight.
And probably that's been the biggest change this year, is bringing in those high school teams. And a shout out to Ginger Boogie Muzz, who's been casting a lot of those games, streaming them and showcasing those kids. And that's where our future talent is going to come from. I mean, the names we're going to see playing tonight, and we're just bringing you the one best of five. But these are names that have been around for a while, the last couple of years, people who've been grinding out to become better, who are now all around GC1, GC2. But that pool, since free to play, the school scene, and providing a platform, I think, is what is going to be critical for the long-term growth. And I can't wait for these 14, 15, 16-year-olds coming out of that high school scene to be getting into something like this and other competitive Rocket League.
Oh, yeah, that idea of growth. You know, we've still got some of the old stalwarts of the scene. People like XD, Pirates XD, who have just been dominating the scene for a couple of years, still sitting up here, still competing at such a high level. We've got the two teams that we've got here tonight, Mist and Meh. These guys have been coming through for the last couple of years, really developing their skills, polishing it off. They're sitting at Grand Champs, you know, Grand Champ 1, Grand Champ 2, a couple of them pushing to Grand Champ 3, and really just pulling up from that second string team up here to compete for these sort of things. And I must admit, I've got to say a big shout out to someone like Echo. Echo is a 18-year-old player. He's currently in high school. In fact, he goes to the high school I teach at, and he's here in our top 8 teams left in this winner bracket. And that's the sort of development that we're looking for. Guys who are already stepping up, pushing forward. As soon as they graduate high school, there are teams that are looking to pick them up and start competing. And when you look at the fact that we've now managed to pull South African Rocket League up to the point where we're competing in stuff like the Intel World Open and starting to showcase not just South African Rocket League, but African Rocket League representing our continent, it just shows what we have to offer here in our scene in South Africa.
And important steps. I mean, we got a long way to go. I mean, obviously, we want to get to the point where this game is big enough that we can, become part of a regional that takes place here, and you have a depth of competition. Where you get into a game and you don't recognize any of your players. That would be a fantastic place to get to. But let's talk about tonight, Ultrazum. I'm going to put up the bracket. So what's up on your screen now are the matches that were played, I guess. The round of 16, and now we have the last 18. I beg your pardon, the last 8 players. And we were going to have 2 matches tonight, but one of the teams couldn't make it, so that's being moved forward to Wednesday. So tonight is Meh up against Mist, and an upper bracket, and very closely matched teams, I think, Ultrazum. If you look at the stats and the breakdown of the players, it should be a fairly closely fought match.
Oh, yeah, this is where it comes to it. We've still got 4 teams left in that lower bracket, but these top teams, these top 8 players here, are at least one of them is going to be able to push all the way through to the finals. When I say at least one, there's going to be 2 teams in the finals, guys. Don't worry about that. But one of these teams is going to try and push all the way there without dropping it, and it really could be an opportunity for one of these 2 teams. Out of all the teams that I look at in that upper bracket, these 2 have a good shot to come in here. We've got Zero, Bread, and Daisy going to be coming through here for Team Mist. We've seen, in fact, all 3 of these players really working hard to get to where they are at now, and they've really developed their mechanical skills over the years. You've got Zero, who's such a proficient backboard player, can get into the air with confidence. Bread has this ability to get some amazing wall shots, is one of the things that sticks out to me whenever I think of Bread. And Daisy, just such a good defensive player, and then being able to push forward and even get some dribbles going when they need to. On the other side, we've got Team Meh, who's made up of Happy Meal, Worty, and Empty. You might know Empty as Empty Promises in the past. This is Phallus's old team. Phallus, one of the players who's actually tried to make a go of it going overseas. And you can see that sort of coaching that he's brought to this team, really developing their individual skills. And when it comes to the team of Meh, all I think of is synergy. These guys working together to get the ball into dangerous positions and then close it out.
I remember Empty Promises as he was back in the day at that LAN I was talking about, and he was a fairly sort of gung-ho player and pretty good already by then, but it's fabulous to see that he's extended, grown, and continued, and now finds himself in the top 8 of the VS Gaming playoffs. So looking forward to see how they do, and they're all relatively young. I mean, Meh are probably the more seasoned, I think, other than Zero, I think, who's around Zero's around 24, so he's a senior citizen. But then on Mist is Biscuit at 21, but Meh, 22, 21, 18. So still young and still a lot of potential. So if we do grow the scene, who knows where they can go? But perhaps all this talking is probably working its way out. I see all the teams have joined up, and I think we're about ready to get into some serious and proper Rocket League Ultrazum.
Oh, this is it, right? We talk about the build-up here. We've got people like Daisy, who's sitting at 16 years old. Worty on the other side, sitting at 18. And I love it when you start talking about these guys being veterans and old players coming in here when we're sitting at 30 and about 180 between the 2 of us. You guys can play around with the numbers there if you want to. But that's the beauty of these scenes. They've got the experience. They've been around for long enough to start building in. And now we're going to jump straight into the action. The first shot comes out. Daisy just missing the mark there by a small margin. Would have sent Mist up, and instantly the turnaround comes out. And Happy Meal just missing that ball a little bit. Obviously, these 2 teams need to warm up. This is a best of 5. So there is going to be a lot of Rocket League for you guys tonight.
And I'm assuming, and no doubt, that these guys will spend some time scrimming and warming up the demo play in front of the net. Works beautifully, and Meh will open up with first blood. Empty kind of taking his time, waiting for the action to take place. The goal line cleared away. Goal scored. Meh, 1-0.
I love to see that heads-up play coming in the beginning. You know, you and I have done a little bit of casting over the last week, and we've talked about stuff that teams, they use those demos to such destructive power, and often you see in the first couple of games that the teams just don't rely on that. They're instead wanting to use their mechanical skill to try and make something happen, and here, the teams waste no time. Meh going in there, Empty just waiting it out, letting some time pass, and the demo comes through to set up that first goal. A minute in, Meh going to be very happy with how they've started this competition off.
Yeah, that physical play, the demo is such a huge part of the meta in Rocket League right now. Certainly higher up, Werty looking for the clear, the attempted clear by Biscuit, intercepted, and is still very much in the orange half, and Meh having the better of the possession and the pressure play in the first minute and 20 or so.
And this is where we start to see Mist trying to form some sort of opportunities for themselves. Daisy doesn't manage to get it out of that corner and quickly turned around. And here's an open opportunity here. Empty just not managing to scoop it up. And a good rotation from Biscuit Galaxy allows for this to come. And now he's going to go up. He's got the aerial dribble started. He gets the one touch, but a miraculous save comes through from Empty to shut that down straight away. Bread going to try and keep on the offensive. But man, looking so solid in defense.
It's so interesting to see Empty riding the Octane. He was always a fan of the unusual cars, a bit like Flakes that way. You know, a year, 2 years ago, you'd often see him come out with things like the Grog to compete. But riding a pretty standard Octane right now. Empty now with the clear, getting it away from their net, popping it up high. Biscuit's going to get on the end of it. And Mist struggling to get on some serious threatening pressure plays over in the Meh half. But it is only one goal, and as long as there's one goal in it, the other teams always has a chance. Empty going again for the physical play. Happy Meal with the shot. He gets there. He gets his second. And Meh pull ahead.
That is beautiful. And again, you can see Werty coming through this time with the demo just stops anyone from the orange team being able to push out. Misters left with a man deficit, and that shot coming in there, the power from Happy Meal just building on that pressure that man has constantly been able to push on here. And you talked about one goal. That is certainly not enough of a lead when it comes to this sort of level. You can easily turn that around, even over the overtime buzzer. But we do have now the 2-goal lead, and I think that's where Meh is going to want to start this. And considering how they've dominated this competition so far, it could have been enough. Bread making sure to get themselves back in it as quickly as possible.
Well, there we go. Mist finally, over half the game gone by, but finally they find themselves on the board. They've got a goal, back to a 1-goal game. And all of these guys know each other incredibly well, Altruism. I mean, they have been teammates, they've been opponents in six-mans and other, you know, given the nature of South African Rocket League, people at the highest level, they all know each other. So there's no doubt there's a lot of familiarity amongst play styles and who's good at what out there. Oh, Daisy was an important touch away.
Yeah, that ability to know your opponents very, very well just really can change how you play up the game. You might have a certain aptitude to certain skills, and knowing your opponents are very good at shutting down a dribble or something like that could force you to change up your play style, turn it to something else. If you know your opponents are very prone to demos or something like that, it can change up the entire play style. I remember back when I used to play against Papa Capes, that was something you always had to keep in mind. Meh, gonna take another shot down though. Daisy coming through this time. It was Bread on the first one, but this touch coming down, Happy Meal just doesn't manage to push it across the goals far enough, and the waiting patiently Daisy levels up our series.
Well, there we go. They took longer, must have taken longer to get into the game, but now they have leveled it up. And it's a good reflection of what we were talking about at the start in terms of how close these guys are, how probably evenly matched these two teams are. So it's going to come down to who makes fewer mistakes or better power plays, and Happy Meal takes it forward. Galaxy Biscuit can't get it too far. Happy Meal, that pass off the backboard straight down for Werty. And Meh again in front.
That was huge. I mean, came out 100% from the power plays of Meh that you referred to. It's just, sometimes you have to rely on your opponents making a mistake. But when you can force that turnaround pressure, when you get a slight edge like that, we saw Happy Meal charging forward, getting that first shot in there. Biscuit Galaxy did an amazing amount of work to be able to get on the top of that. And then still the follow-up touch from Happy Meal pushes it down and towards the center, even going the wrong way next to the ball, and then coming in front, putting it towards towards Werty, and Werty makes it happen. It's up to Man now to try and hold on to this 1-goal lead.
Yeah, but Mist looking better. They've gotten better on their pressure plays going forward. They've looked more threatening going forward in the second half of the game than they did in the first. And they're going to have to find one here. Less than 30 seconds to go to push this game into a possible overtime. But as it stands now, Meh are going to have first blood, take the opening game and put themselves in a good position going forward. Empty, trying to extend the lead, doesn't quite get there. And Daisy, you know, the first time I saw Daisy play, we were at about the same level. And then the next time I saw him, he was so far ahead of me. It's been amazing to see his rise. But we come to the end, do we? Oh! Oh, that was, how close were we to a game 1 overtime?
You talked about Mist being able to start getting some structured plays in together, and what a way that would have been to finish off our first game, or at least to extend our first game there. That touch just coming off the crossbar, a beautiful pass into the center, sets it up, and great attempts from both sides. We see there 7 shots coming out from the side of Meh, 6 for the side of Mist, and it's just that the difference of 1 goal between them. Both of them looking alive here, both of them looking like they're getting warmed up so quickly, and cannot wait to see the rest of this series. Do you happen to have a favorite team? Do you think someone's going to come out? Are you brave enough to make a prediction as of yet?
No, I'm still burnt from a casting session the other day where I prognosticated like I actually knew what I was talking about. But I don't know. I do think it's too close to call. How do you call it? I do think Meh probably the slightly ahead in terms of being favorites. I don't know, but I'm not going to call it. I don't know, Altruism, how you feel about it.
No, you are a brave and wise man. There is a difference between bravery and stupidity, and I think you have exactly found that line perfectly here. Both these teams showing that they can pull off anything, and I mean, considering how close that was to leveling it up and taking it to an overtime, we had such a great chance. Now a double commit, though, comes out from the side of Meh. They're going to be charging backwards, trying to make something happen. Not the cleanest touch from Happy Meal. Allows Biscuit Galaxy to push it towards the center, and Mist going to look to take our game off with already some great pressure coming out here. Oh, Daisy not being able to get it out of that corner just shuts down that opportunity.
Yeah, good to see from Mist that they're looking to pressure early on. They spent a good portion of the first game, certainly in the first half of the game, sort of fielding pressure coming in from Meh, but they're looking to turn that around very quickly and not allow Meh to get too settled into the game. And hopefully the pressure can pay off for them. Bread now, can't quite get on it. Empty with the block, the dunk. Gets it all the way to the other side. Daisy now coming off the ceiling. Pops it down. Can Bread? Bread went up for the read. He didn't need to. The second touch from Daisy will... Well, it's a little bit of the African bouncer, and he comes down, gets that second touch, which I think confused everybody.
Man, Empty was there, but you do not expect Daisy to go for that one. And I mean, I think it was Bread in the center, was actually ready for the shot, misses it out. And so you could almost hear that sigh of relief coming out from Meh. Daisy again going to be coming through here. Call him the Daisy cutter, because you are just taking off Meh at the head.
What a touch that was. It completely took out 2 Meh players and left the goal wide open for him to tap it in. All right, I think Mist are here. They have settled. We have a series on our hands. I do not foresee a sweep, Altruism.
Oh, no. And I think we were definitely good to hedge our bets at the beginning of this and not want to put money on either of these teams just yet, as we see Mist being able to just settle more and more into this game. They looked a little bit sketchy in the first half of the first game, But as this is going on, Daisy coming off the wall, gets the one shot, just bounces again, finding the woodwork after 2 amazing shots. Daisy's not finished yet though, pushes it high. Biscuit Galaxy is waiting, but doesn't have the boost to try anything. Flicks it up nice and high, empty, gonna have to try and clear this out. Still not going past that halfway mark though, as Mist look more and more dangerous. Another shot comes in from Daisy, yet again finding above it. The extra touch finds the corner. How many more shots does it take? But at the end of the day, if you can find the back of the net, that's all you need.
I am amazed at how Mist have come out in this game. We just didn't see anything like this from them in that first game. They had to fight their way out of a corner. They got back into the game, leveled it up. They ultimately went down, and it was fairly even. But they are dominating here in terms of possession and pressure play.
And it all comes down to this team pushing up and working together, being able to put stuff out there. Going to be turned around though. Happy Meal reading that, just not cleared out by the Mist defense. And it is Meh coming back to life, showing that they still want to be in this competition.
Yeah, nicely done by MT to set that up, driving it forward, hitting the back wall, touching it again to get the pass back to Happy Meal, who makes no mistake. And now that they're in it, perhaps the dominance that Mist have had in the first two minutes of this game may come to an end. Is this the start of Meh looking to turn around the pressure play? Not immediately, because right away they're back up against their own goal line, struggling to get it away. And there again, Daisy intercepting, Biscuit putting it into the middle. Oh, Bread wanted to drive that forward, but completely whiffed it. And this might put them in a little bit of strife. Certainly oh no!
Oh no! Not like that.
You hate to see it, Ultrazim. Happy brings it into the middle. Oh, Bread looking to clear it. Hits Biscuit Galaxy, who was basically falling down from an earlier touch. And then setting up. So not quite the own goal, but pretty much the own pass.
Yeah, I must admit, we talk about whether it's going to take some impressive plays on a team's side or whether it's going to come out to mistakes from the other team. I don't know which one that was. I feel like Meh there created the pressure, started building opportunities for themselves, and then it came down to just one lucky touch. And sometimes that's all it takes at this level of Rocket League to cause yourself a little bit of consternation in the back line. And what a way for Meh to be able to bring it to within 1 goal. We have another game on our hands.
Yeah, well, there was good pressure after the Meh goal. Mist looked immediately to pile on the pressure that they'd done from the start. But a little bit of a mistake going forward, and then a couple of mistakes against their own goal line. They've conceded. So there's been absolutely a momentum shift here. And now it seems like Mist are the ones struggling to get it out of their half. And slowly Meh are pushing further and further up, threatening. And here they come again. Werty off the back wall. No one there to finish. Empty tries to, but Bread disrupting just enough. The pass into the middle. The miss. Werty's alone. Third man. Oh, they did okay there, but now under pressure. Now it's getting a little scrappy out there, Ultrazim. The finesse play seems to have deserted both teams for the moment.
Scrappy is a good way to put it at this stage, as we see double commits coming out from everyone at this stage. We're seeing people flying left, right, and center. Whether the ball's going to be able to touch the ground at any stage is anyone's guess, as all of them diving through it. Another double miss coming out from both sides there, leaves it scattering around the orange goals. We've got just under a minute left here for Meh to try and pull it back, and with this ball bouncing back towards the blue side, it is going to be Meh under the pressure, trying to make it work. And can they just regain their composure in the last 30 seconds to try and tie us up and take it to an overtime?
Yeah, Meh have done very well to disrupt the play of Mist. Mist, who are looking very much in control. The last 40 seconds or so, they've seemed a little bit rushed to get the ball out, snatching it a little bit, haven't had the composure they had at the start of the game. But one way or another, they have held on to a lead. They gave up 2 goals, and they should hold on. Can they hold on? Can the ball get kept up? Empty now for a last attack by Meh. Can they find it for overtime? Yes, Happy Meal can. Can you believe it? Mist have given up 3 goals to take the second game to overtime.
Man, Happy Meal diving out of the corner there. You could see the desperation coming from that shot, having to go all the way around, and there was just a little bit of chaos and confusion in the orange goal line because they had 2 men back, but Happy Meal had so much time in the air because no one was challenging there. meant we are taking it to an overtime in game 2, where Mist looked so confident with their 3-goal lead. They're now on the verge of giving it away. They don't want to give it like this. They've built up all the pressure that they really needed to, and they desperately want to try and level up our series.
The tough thing here for Mist is that they had the 3-goal advantage. They gave it up there in overtime. All the momentum right now is with Meh. They're the ones who are most likely to concede right now, and it would be a brutal loss to be 3 goals up, give it up, and then lose in overtime. And I don't know if they come back from that altruism, and it almost ended empties up Bread with such an important block,
Daisy.
and now an open net on the other side, but Daisy can't get around the ball to get the shot off, and they survive, and overtime continues.
Man, it inches beyond both of these teams, and this is what we start to see in overtimes when it comes to this, is when teams start being a little bit too focused. They're like, we need to score a goal before the other team, and they start throwing too much into their attack. They start giving up opportunities the other way. And that's when you open yourselves up for a very easy goal. Mist nearly gave up one themselves, and then Meh, just pushing too hard, nearly gave up one the other way. As we start to settle down now, these two teams really need to gain composure if they want to take a strong foothold in this competition.
Well, again, it speaks to the closeness of the two teams. Here we are, locked at 3 goals apiece. 1.5 minutes of overtime. Does it come to an end now? Daisy shoots! He will find a way through! Someone attempting to save it on the goal line. I think they were just a little bit too far in the net. Empty trying to come out. Oh, I beg your pardon. Daisy dunks him as Empty looks to push it away, and somehow a very scrappy fight, but Mist come through. We're 1 game all.
Man, Daisy deserving that tag there of headliner, coming in with all 4 goals for the team, all taking 7 shots, equaling up the entire shots of the Meh team on their own. And so coming through there, what a showing to lead the pack here from Daisy, and just Meh fighting back valiantly there, managing to pull 3 goals back, take it all the way to overtime, and then giving it away just because of this chaotic play that Daisy took advantage of. They took the shot, Empty made a desperate save attempt and pushes it straight back into Daisy's face, sits in the back of the goal, and we're up to 1 game apiece. Right, we're into game number 3. Both these teams having sorted things out.